Now, the White House says it's open to raising the U.S. borrowing limit for an extra few days. That's if legislators strike a deal to end the debt crisis and need time for it to clear Congress. A plan by the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has just been rejected by the Senate, but Reid and his Republican counterpart remain hopeful of reaching an agreement before Tuesday's deadline.
After speaking to Republican leader Mitch McConnell this morning, we are cautiously optimistic. There are a number of issues yet to be resolved, and we must understand that. There's no agreement that has been made, but we're optimistic that one can be reached.
I believe there will be a strong bipartisan support for this. Again, this deal has not been finalized yet, but I think we are very, very close to something that I could comfortably recommend to my members, and I believe the Democratic leadership will be doing the same.
Well, Jason Johnson is a professor of political science at Hiram College. He joins us now live from Atlanta. Professor Johnson, it's great to see you again. Many thanks for being with us. Harry Reid, then, is cautiously optimistic that Congress can reach a deal. Do you share his optimism?
They're going to reach a deal, but the damage has already been done. It looks like the United States is already going to get downgraded by at least one credit rating agency. So all this screaming and crying has made everybody look bad. It's slowed economic growth, and no one comes out of this a hero. It's a mess through and through.
Okay, so there's economic damage already as a result of this. What about the political fallout following this debacle?
The political fallout is terrible. The U.S. Congress's approval ratings is at about 20% right now. The Republicans are lower. Revolutions have been started with higher approval ratings than that. So, no one looks like a hero. Barack Obama looks weak heading into 2012. The Democrats in Congress look ineffectual, and the Republicans look like this economic suicide death cult who would rather see the country fail than challenge any of their principles. So politically, this is not a winner for anybody in the United States.
All right, so how should this have been played right from the start? If they can put it right, what do the president and the government have to do now?
What needs to be done now is people need to be looking at September. That's when the continuing resolution for our current government budget runs out. The president right now needs to talk to the members of Congress and say, we're not going to have this fight again in September. We need to come up with a plan to continue to fund the government all the way through 2012 so that we don't have these fights again. Every single time we have this sort of gridlock in Washington, it makes investors scared. It makes job creators unhappy. And they need to start thinking beyond the next election in how they're going to get our economy on track.
Okay, all throughout this, President Obama has had one eye on his re-election. How do you think this situation will have affected his chances for securing a second term?
In the short term, he's had the lowest approval rating throughout this crisis he's ever had. He's dropped to about 42%. Ironically, he still has a higher approval rating than both Clinton and I believe Carter had at this point, and actually Reagan had at this point. So historically, he's doing fine. He's got to reassert himself. The perception on the left in the United States is that Barack Obama is always giving up too much. Everybody wants to play poker with him because they know they'll win. And he needs to show that he's a real leader. And he needs to show the Republican Party that the economy comes first, not just politics.
Professor Johnson, many thanks indeed. Jason Johnson there live in Atlanta.